In a quiet town, surrounded by hills and fields, lived a young man who liked simple things. He worked in a small shop, fixing old clocks and watches. His days were calm, filled with the sound of ticking hands and soft music from the radio. He had no big dreams, no loud plans, just a heart that believed in kindness and honesty. One morning, as the sun rose and painted the streets in gold, someone new walked past his shop, a young woman, holding a book and walking slowly as if she had all the time in the world. Her hair caught the light, and her smile was soft like a song. The young man looked up from his work, just in time to see her glance at the little clocks in his window. She paused, smiled, and then continued walking. That one moment stayed in his mind all day. The next morning, she came again. This time, she stopped a little longer. She looked at a small silver clock behind the glass and tilted her head as if she was thinking. The young man stood behind the counter, heart beating fast. He didn't say anything. He just watched her from behind the shelves. Then, just like before, she smiled and walked on. Day by day, she passed his shop. Sometimes she waved. Sometimes she just smiled. He began to wait for that moment each morning. He would fix the clocks with more care, clean the windows, and make sure the silver one was always shining. One day, as she stopped to look again, he found the courage to open the door. "Good morning," he said. She turned and smiled. "Good morning." "Do you like clocks?" he asked. "I like the ticking," she said. "It reminds me that time is still moving, even when everything feels still." He didn't know what to say to that, but she looked peaceful, standing there in the morning light, and he wished she would stay longer. "I have tea inside," he said suddenly, "if you want." She looked surprised, then nodded. "I'd like that." And just like that, something beautiful began. She started visiting the shop every morning. They talked about small things, whether books, the sounds of the town. She liked old stories and quiet songs. He liked the way she laughed and how she looked at the world as if everything had meaning. They sat near the window, sipping tea and listening to the soft tick-tick of the clocks. He told her about his childhood, about how his father taught him to fix broken things. She told him about her dreams of writing stories, about how she loved silence and rainy days. They didn't rush. Their love grew slowly, like a tree with deep roots. One afternoon, it began to rain. She ran into the shop, her dress wet, hair stuck to her face. He handed her a towel, and they both laughed. She sat by the window, watching the rain. "It's strange," she said, "but I feel like I've always known you." He looked at her and nodded. "I feel the same." That day, he held her hand for the first time. Seasons changed. Leaves fell. Snow came. Then flowers bloomed again. Their love became something gentle and true. They didn't say, "I love you" every day. They didn't need to. It was in the way they looked at each other, in the way they sat quietly, in the way he waited for her in the mornings, and she always brought him something sweet from a bakery. They were two people who had found home in each other. One day, she came in and said, "I have to leave." His hand stopped moving. "Just for a while," she said. "My mother is sick. She lives far away. I need to go and care for her." He felt a deep sadness, but he didn't show it. He nodded and said, "Of course. Family is important." "I'll write," she said. "And I'll wait," he replied. They hugged. It was the kind of hug that said 1,000 things without words. Weeks passed, then months. She wrote often at first. Long letters, full of feelings. She told him about her days, her mother's slow healing, her thoughts about life. He wrote back, pouring his heart into each word. But slowly, the letters became fewer. Life, distance, and time began to stretch between them. Still, he waited. He fixed clocks during the day and read her old letters at night. He kept a notebook where he wrote down the things he wanted to tell her when she came back. He didn't stop loving her. He believed in true love. One day, after almost a year, a letter came. It was short. "I don't know if I'm coming back," it said. "I'm sorry." His hands trembled. He read the letter again and again. The words were clear. She was not returning. She had moved on. But he was still in the same place, still waiting by the same window, still watching the silver clock that had first caught her eye. People in town noticed his silence. Friend tried to cheer him up, but he just smiled and said, "She's happy now. That's enough." But in his heart, there was an empty space. He didn't stop working. He didn't stop living. But something had changed. The tea tasted different. The ticking of the clocks felt lonely. Years passed. The shop stayed the same. He grew older. The silver clock still sat in the window. Then, one cold winter evening, the doorbell rang. He looked up, and there she was. She was older, just like him. Her eyes were tired, but her smile was the same. He stood still, unsure if it was a dream. "I thought you weren't coming back," he said quietly. "I thought the same," she replied. "But some things don't leave the heart. I never stopped loving you. I was just lost for a while." He didn't speak. He walked to her and held her hands. "I waited," he said. "I know," she whispered. "I felt it every day." They sat together by the window, just like before. No loud promises, no anger, just two hearts that had found their way back. They didn't try to fix the lost years. They just started again. Together. Some days were quiet. Some were full of laughter. Some were filled with stories of what they had seen and felt while apart. Their love, now older and wiser, was stronger than ever. It had survived time, distance, silence, and pain. It had grown from the roots of something true. Speech balloon moral of the story. True love is patient. It does not always come with loud words or grand gestures. Sometimes it waits quietly. Sometimes it walks away but returns when the heart is ready. True love is not perfect. It is real. And when it is real, it never truly ends.